What's going on, Socialites? Ryan here with the Global Pokemon Society, bringing you another Monotype analysis video for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Going to be talking about Rock, Ground, and Steel today. Hopping right into Rock, who really got, not that Rock's ever been a good type in Monotype, but really got robbed this generation. Has the shortest list of fully evolved Pokemon you can choose from, but it did get a couple really good new ones, such as Garganacl, the Pure Rock, Wall. There's awesome stuff here. Signature ability, Purifying Salt. Can't be status, so not going to get paralyzed, put to sleep, burned. None of that. And gets a resistance to Ghost, which is pretty nice. Not bad. We'll take that. Also has a signature attack, Salt Cure, pretty low base power, but it creates a static effect on the afflicted Pokemon. They lose 1/8 of their HP every turn, and if that Pokemon Steel or Water, they lose a full 25%. And that happens even if Garganacl dies or switches out until the affected Pokemon switches out. So it's pretty good. Gets a lot of chip damage off on Pokemon that switch in on Garganacl. Especially Water and Steel types that we talked about, and those are a couple types that Rock doesn't want to go up against, so any little buff for that is nice. Body Press for your other attack, because you don't really have a lot of other options. Recover and Stealth Rocks. Not sure what sort of item you want here. You could go Leftovers. I went with Rocky Helmet because I think Rocky Helmet is a solid option in the meta right now. But if you have something like, I don't know, like if you go up against a Fire or a Dark team with Chi-Yu, I mean, good luck. Get the sand up is all I have to say about that. And Terra-type Water just removes all of Rock's weaknesses, really makes your Garganacl very bulky and lets it take on the Water and Steel types better with its Salt Cure, because now it resists their stab attacks. Moving on, you got kind of your dedicated lead here, Glamora, with its signature ability Toxic Debris. We talked about this on our Poison type, but whenever it gets hit by a physical attack, it lays a set of Toxic Spikes. This one's more offensive than you might see in some, because we do want the special attacking power. As a Rock type, you just don't have a lot of special attackers to mess around with. So Glamora with that 130 special attack is really nice. So we want to max out on that, use stuff like Sludge Wave, Earth Power, and Dazzling Gleam, but you can still set Spikes and Toxic Debris. You have the Air Balloon, but if you wanted to go Focus Sash, you could also do that. And then Terra-type Flying, that way if you know someone's going to go for a 4 times effective ground attack against your Rock Poison type, Flying, get off a big hit. It does also get Energy Ball, but I think this Stab, Earth Power, maybe you want Energy Ball over Earth Power, because you have so many other ways to use ground attacks with the Rock types. Next up, for new Pokemon, we got Iron Thorns, the Paradox Tyranitar. Just a standard Dragon Dance set, making use of that 134 base attack and pretty solid bulk. Rock Electric, again, you got another 4 times weak to ground, so if you do want to Terra-type this, you can go Terra-type Flying, so you are immune to that, and try and kill them with an Ice Punch after the Dragon Dance. Stone Edge for your big stab attack. Thunder Punch over Wild Charge, just because with Life Orb, I don't want too much recoil adding up, but if you want to go with a different item over Life Orb, you could get away with Wild Charge, I think. The glue of every Rock team, Tyranitar, getting that Sandstream up, giving all of your teammates that 50% special defense boost. Crunch, Fire Punch, Earthquake, and Thunder Wave for a little bit of support. Just trying to get off some big damage and get up that sand with Tyranitar. Terra-type Ghost. Again, you got a lot of 4 times weaknesses on here. Ground, Fighting. We got grass here at the end that we'll get to. A lot of 4 times weaknesses. You got to cover them where you can. So Ghost, so you can be immune to at least their first fighting attack. Maybe knock them out or get a Key Thunderwave off on them. To pair with the Sandstream, we got Sand Rush Lycanroc. You could also go with the Tough Claws Lycanroc as well, but we don't have a Choice Scarf on this set, so I think Sand Rush with the Choice Band is probably better than the Tough Claws with the Choice Scarf. Stone Edge, Close Combat, Play Rough, and Accelerock give you pretty solid coverage. And with Adamant, you're hitting 323, so in the sand you're at 646. You're the fastest thing there is. And last but not least, we got Dreadnought. Again, Rock is pretty lacking here. So we're going with Dreadnought, Water type. Going with the Shell Smash set, so another Life Orb user, but you could do something different if you wanted there. Liquidation, Ice Fang, Crunch, Shell Smash. Strong Jaw powering up the Ice Fang and the Crunch. Crunch over the previously signature attack of Jawlock because you might want to switch out, and they're the same base power. So really, I feel like Jawlock is kind of just a downgrade over Crunch. Looking at a couple extra players if you want to play with them, you got Cloth. Cloth is weird, right? It has this new signature ability, Anger Shell, which is like a mini Shell Smash. When you get below half health, you get +1 in your attack stats and speed, and -1 in your defenses, so it's not as good as a Shell Smash. But if you go for Terror type Bug, you might be able to resist a ground or a fighting attack coming at you. Maybe you only take half, you get your Citrus Berry, maybe the next attack you only take half, then it's starting to rack up a little bit, right? I don't know if you'll survive with the -1 defense, but that's kind of like the idea behind it. Crab Hammer, knock off Stone Edge for your strong stab. If you're doing the Bug too, you could also go with X-Scissor. You want to try something like that. You don't have to do Bug though. You could try another type, maybe a more generically good type like Water to go with that Crab Hammer, so you can keep the Stone Edge. This is a Pokemon that you probably want to see what the meta or teams that you're going up against are doing, and then try to figure out the calcs. Because you could definitely play with like the defenses or whatever a little bit more. I just went max attack, max speed here. But yeah, Cloth, not that great. Also gets regenerated, but I mean on pure rock type, again, with just not really good stats. Yeah, that's about that. And lastly, we got Colossal. You don't have too many Pokemon that are weak to Stealth Rock, so I don't think you really need removal. But if you, for some reason, wanted that, you could run Heavy Duty Boots, Colossal with Rapid Spin, Flamethrower, Will-O-Wisp, Terra Blast, Grass. That way you can hit ground and water types. Special Defense, Max HP. I mean, just a support Colossal. Nothing too crazy there. This one would definitely make the team over Cloth, though. Like, yeah. I don't know. Do you like Cloth? Let me know. Comment down below if you've used Cloth on anything. Next, we're going to Ground. You got Clodsire. You could definitely run Unaware Clodsire, but I do like having a water immunity on our ground team. So Water Absorb is nice. Max Defense. Black Sludge. Gunk Shot, Toxic, Stealth Rock, Recover. Pretty self-explanatory support set. Terror type Poison, just in case you really need that extra damage from a Gunk Shot. Like, you need it. You need to one-hit KO that grass type that's in front of you. You know, that Breloom's about to set up and crush your whole team. You need to get that Gunk Shot off. But it probably kills anyway. Who knows? Breloom's not that bulky. Next, we got Toedscruel. I actually wasn't thinking of putting Toedscruel on here, but despite the drawback of its ability, it still has like a very good speed stat, and it's a special attacker. And it gives you Grass Stab, which is great to hit water types, of course. So Leaf Storm just for really strong grass attacks. Flash Cannon with Terra type Steel, so you can Terra type in front of ice attacks or ice types and hit them back with Flash Cannon. Knockoff just for support. And then Spore, because sometimes you can get a free Spore off if you know that your opponent's most likely going to switch, or if you know they don't have something that can really do too much damage to you. Pretty solid stuff there. Again, I kind of mentioned it, but Mycelium Might, it makes you have negative priority on your status effects such as Spore, but they ignore target's abilities. So it is good against Pokemon like Goldango or Pokemon that have Overcoat. Next up we got Great Tusk. Fighting, ground, just a bulky boy. We're going to max out on its defenses. We're going to go Earthquake, Body Press, Knockoff, Rapid Spin with an Assault Vest. This boy is going to be able to take some hits. Going to be a really bulky Pokemon, and be able to remove, even though like the hazards aren't bad for us, this is a hazard meta. We don't want too many stacked up on us. We do got Clodsire to absorb toxic spikes though, but still I think Assault Vest adds a lot. If you don't want to go Rapid Spin, you could definitely add spikes or rocks on there and go with something more like Leftovers or something. All up to your preference. I think it might also, you could also probably go with something like Stone Edge if you want to hit flying types with it. Next, we got Sandy Shocks. You see, Ground got a lot of new Pokemon to use. Sandy Shocks breaks past that 100 speed tier with 101. Makes it a really nice choice scarfer. You could definitely go Timid, but I want to get as much damage off with Volt Switch and everything. So yeah, Volt Switch, really nice. Another anti-water Pokemon to go with your Clodsire and your Toedscruel. Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon to hit ice and rock types and stuff. Earth Power just for solid stab. Volt Switch, already kind of talked about that. Just another good choice scarf Pokemon. Sometimes these Pokemon you can't make too good use out of their abilities, Photosynthesis or Quark Drive, but their stats and their move pool make up for it. So it's not too bad. Next we got Ting-lu, one of the Ruin Legends, the Shrine Legends, whatever you want to call them. Just another bulky boy to go with our Great Tusk and even our Clodsire. Max out on the defenses, Leftovers, Earthquake, Ruination for plenty of damage, Spikes, Whirlwind to stop setup and to get more hazard damage up with the spikes, and the rocks that our Clodsire gets up. Yeah, definitely some good stuff there. Like, Ground has so many tools to play with. And then just Garchomp at the end. I'm not sure if this is the right set to do here, but I went with max HP, max attack. I don't think you need too much more speed because you do have the Toedscruel, which is fast. You do have the Choice Scarf Sandy Shocks. So Rocky Helmet with the rough skin is really going to wear down physical attackers. So I thought maxing on the HP would be nice. Dragon Claw, Iron Head, Liquidation, Swords Dance. Now you could put Earthquake on here, but again, we got Earthquake, we got Earth Power, we got Earthquake. Like, you don't really need it. Dragon Claw, solid enough, especially after Swords Dance. Iron Head to hit fairy types. Liquidation to hit everything else, and you can Terra Water. That way you'll resist any ice types coming at you. Hit them with an Iron Head, hit them with a stronger Liquidation, whatever you want to do there. Some other ground types to think of: Iron Treads, kind of overshadowed by just the pure bulk that Great Tusk has. But again, you can run an Assault Vest set here. It'll be a little faster, but a little weaker than Great Tusk. Heavy Slam for your Steel Stab. Earthquake, Knockoff, Rapid Spin. Does a lot of the same thing as Great Tusk, but I think it's just not as good. Hippowdon, usually a ground type that you see on a lot of teams, but it definitely gets overshadowed now by Great Tusk and even Iron Treads. It does have recovery through Slack Off, which the other two don't have. But you just, like, both of these have knockoff, right? Knockoff is such a premium move now. Like, do you really want knockoff to go away in place of like Slack Off or Yawn? I don't know. I'd rather have one of these on the team. I don't know if Hippowdon is even good in the meta anymore. Without Excadrill, like if Excadrill is in the game, okay, then you could be like, yeah, I want Hippowdon on my mono ground team because I want to support Excadrill. But there's no Sand Rush ground type. So. And lastly, you could also think about Gastrodon. Maybe you'd rather have the Unaware Clodsire, so then you want Gastrodon as another one of your bulkier Pokemon. It got access to both Stealth Rocks and Spikes, so you could definitely put that on there. Again, it does get recovered just like Clodsire does. Ice Beam and Surf, very good coverage. Basic Gastrodon set just now gets hazards instead of toxic. But I think you can still run Yawn if you want to. Lastly, we got the Steel types. Starting off with some new Pokemon, we got Orthworm, which is really cool. I was in an Orthworm raid. It was an electric Orthworm raid. 6-star. What the fuck were people doing? They were hitting Earthquake into the Earth Eater. I was so pissed. I was so pissed. We were so close to beating it, but it was like me and only one other guy were actually like hitting it with effective attacks. Everyone else sucked. You suck. Anyway. So yeah, I think Terra-type Electric with Earth Eater is great because, hey, guess what? That makes you have no weaknesses. The item's a little iffy. I'm going with the Mago Berry because I'm thinking Shed Tail, right? So maybe you get hit with something, right? You're pretty bulky. So maybe you take like 20%. You Shed Tail. You're down to 30%. That procs your Mago Berry. Brings you back up over 60. Maybe the next time you come in, you'll still be over 50. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the calcs of everything. But I think it's better than something like, say, Leftovers. Hard to tell, but that's what I'm thinking, right? But Earth Eater, signature ability, immune to ground attacks, and you get 25% health when hit with one. Huge, right? For a Steel team, a ground immunity, huge. Body Press, Iron Defense, Spike, Shed Tail. Pretty solid. We see this sort of set on a lot of defensive support Pokemon. Shed Tail does give it something unique that only Cyclizar does. Cyclizar has the speed to really use it to get teammates in, but Orthworm has the bulk to react to what teammates do. So Cyclizar is more aggressive, Orthworm's more reactive. We kind of just talked about him in the previous team for other options, but Iron Treads is good enough to make it onto the Steel team because there is no Great Tusk. Earthquake, Ice Spinner so that you can hit flying types with it and other ground types. Knockoff, Stealth Rock. Since we're going with Stealth Rock, we're not going to go with the Assault Vest here. Rocky Helmet, you could also go with Leftovers. I think both those would be fine. I think I've even seen some people use Air Balloon. I don't know about in a Monotype meta, but could be something there. Kingambit, just one of the great new offensive Pokemon. Like, they gave Bisharp an evolution. It's gotta be good. Supreme Overlord. So in the late game, the more fainted teammates you have, your attack gets raised by 10%. And that's like a static thing. I think that is not affected by stuff like Unaware. So you're just doing huge damage. Kowtow Cleave, 85 base. Dark Move. When you don't have knockoff, this is the next best thing as far as physical dark moves go. Iron Head, Sucker Punch, Swords Dance. Standard stuff. You can run some bulk. You don't have to go too much on the attack. 220 because of your Supreme Overlord. This gives you a little bit of speed to outrun some of the like base 55 walls and stuff like that. Goldango. Huge Pokemon here. Choice Scarf set, make it rain, just a nuke of a special attack. And it's great because as you see, we don't have a lot of special attack Steel types. You could run something like Magnezone, but I think you're losing out on a lot of utility there. I like that more on like an electric team. And there, again, there's just not a lot of special attacking steel types. Lucario could run something, but yeah, Goldango just does everything that you want for a special attacker. Corviknight, just another bulky boy. Bulk up with Brave Bird, U-turn Roost. It's going to win any 1v1 stall fight due to pressure. And lastly, Scizor gives you a little bit of priority with Bullet Punch. If you Terra type Steel with your Bullet Punch after Swords Dance, you're doing so much damage. Good stuff there. And just a couple other Pokemon to think about. Tinkaton. This Pokemon was pretty hyped, but of course its stats are a little lackluster. You definitely want Swords Dance to help with that base 75 attack. Gigaton Hammer, huge 160 base power steel move, but you can't spam it. It's not spammable. You can only use it every other turn. Play Rough though, good Fairy Stab. And then Terra Blast Electric does pretty well, lets you hit you know, the bulky water types that might bother like your steel team. Then we got Lucario, who I talked about as like an option for a special attacker perhaps, but this is a choice band set, close combat, Ice Punch, Extreme Speed, and Bullet Punch. This is something you could run instead of, say, Scizor if you just want a strong priority spammer with Extreme Speed and Bullet Punch. But Scizor does get a lot more out of that due to its higher attack stat and its Technician boost. Like, Lucario doesn't get good abilities. Someone asked me on our fighting video, the video where we went over the fighting team, why Toxicroak over Lucario. And the main thing I said was that, you know, the water immunity is always nice to have with Toxicroak, and it gets some good priority against Ghost and Psychic types with Sucker Punch. Lucario does get Bullet Punch, but Sucker Punch, of course, is going to be stronger against Ghost types. And lastly, just because it is such an interesting Pokemon Reverum, this Pokemon loses out a lot from a lack of a move pool. So you get Iron Head, you get Gunk Shot for your stabs. Its signature attack is called Spin Out, right? Spin Out, yeah, it's 100 base power, but it lowers your speed by 2. And kind of a big drawback. I'd rather have the reliable Iron Head, especially because we're going with a Shift Gear set, which is going to raise our speed by 2 and our attack by 1. Filter makes it so that our super effective attacks are only doing 75% to us. You're still going to get cooked by any sort of ground attack, but at least fire attacks, you'll take a lot less. Those are your only 2 weaknesses. Terra type Flying if you really do need to get out of the way of a ground attack. But Reverum just doesn't have the best move pool, so it's not really that good. You could do like Water, Terra type Water, and then do like Terra Blast instead of the Zen Headbutt, or even instead of Iron Head if you feel like you have enough steel coverage on your team. But yeah, those are the teams for ground, rock, and steel. Let me know your thoughts. Stay tuned for our last video, which will be going over Dragon, Fairy, and Ice. Let me know how your adventures in Paldea are going. Wi-Fi battle should be starting up soon. Trying to get some people together to do that with me. And as always, stay classy, society.